Hey guys, Frank Spencer, Mr. Chatsworth here, and want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in the Chatsworth real estate market. Exclamation point, this will be my last market update for the month, although we will still keep producing videos. I want you to know where the market's headed and why I think that your opportunity to A, get a good deal if you're a buyer, and B, um, get a good deal and a fair deal if you're a seller, is just around the corner. Right now, there's a little bit of turbulence. I call it being fluid. We just kind of go with the market. But the market is definitely sending us some very clear signals, and we're going to discuss them just a little bit. As always, I start out with market action index, and as you can see, right now it's around 40. And a couple weeks ago, when we looked at it, it was a little bit higher, 44, 46, somewhere around there. So we are seeing a little trend downward. And again, I'll remind you that when we look at the market action index, anything below 30 means that we've dipped into a buyer's market. And typically, houses don't sell as quickly in a buyer's market. Why? Because buyers' fear is that if they buy today, they could have got it cheaper the following week, following month. You get my picture. So in any event, right now, the market still favors the sellers. And for some reasons we'll discuss in just a little bit, I believe that trend is going to continue. We're going to stay in a seller's market for a bit. So let's get busy and let's talk about things that are important to you. No surprise here, the median price is going up, and with the Fed indicating, and this is one of those metrics that I say is going to drive the market forward in favor of the seller, with the Fed indicating that they're going to be lowering interest rates a quarter point over the next 2 or 3 sessions. Interest rates go down, inventory remains tight. Prices are going to go up because buyer activity, buyers are going to jump back into the market. What I want you to understand is when interest rates hit 8, there were 5 million people who wanted to buy a home who were priced out of buying a home. Now we're down in the mid sixes. We expect that to go even lower, maybe down as far as the low sixes. So as interest rates start to trend downward on 30-year fixed mortgages, and they will, buyer activity is going to go up. So from a buyer's side, your better days are ahead of you. They're coming this way. You're still going to have to compete because inventories are so low. And as more buyers come into the market, as long as inventories remain as static as they are right now, we're going to continue to see prices go up. Now, Dr. Lawrence Yun indicated that he thought probably a 3.5% nationwide, a 3.5% increase in interest rates. I would suggest that in our market, we may see that number go up a little bit. Remember, that's average nationwide, 3.5%. California tends to blaze its own trail when it comes to appreciation and market values. And so for that reason, I'm kind of leaning toward a stronger market in terms of appreciation here in California, Southern California, Northern California. You pick it. Interest. I think the median sale price is going to continue to rise. But look at that trend line. That's what it's doing right now. So for that reason, I see that trend continuing. Average days on market. Let's take a look at that. And you can see there's a slight tick up. But really, when we measure any real estate related trend line, what we really want to do is take a look at the largest sample of time that we possibly can to get a clear picture of the actual trend line. And when we look at this goes from December 2018, fast forward 5 years to August 2023, and we're very nearly at that same trend line. So while we've seen spikes and we've seen drops, the general trend line right now is consistent where we were 5 years ago. We've seen a large run up from August 22 to where we are today, August 23. Remember, that's specific to and in reaction to interest rates running away from us, and now the buyers are coming back into the market. So we suspect this trend line is going to go back down, and really when we look at the market in its four segments, we have a lot to talk about there as well. So anyway, days on market, we think are going to trend downward as buyers come back into the market and start to compete. And when you look at overall, the lower segments in our market, entry level homes in the Chatsworth area, they're selling in 21 days or less. And really, it's price predicated. If you price a little bit ahead of the market, you're going to get a quick sale, and you're going to get probably a higher price than if you price aggressively as a seller and then have to work your way back to a sale price or agreed upon sale price. So let's take a look at properties with a price decrease. Again, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, and that number is trending up. And I got to tell you, I think that we as realtors got to do a better job of advising our clients how to position their house to get the most activity. And right now, I'd say price at market value, not above market value. And certainly, I don't think you have to price below market value to bring buyers into the fold. But when you price above market value, it's going to take longer to sell. There's absolutely no question about that. And you're going to chase the market downward, and quite probably in the end, you're going to end up selling for less than you would if you price at market value and allow buyers to compete to drive prices up. A couple more things to look at here, and I would tell you this is something we want to look at, and that's properties that relist. And why do we want to look at that? We want to look at that because those are the sellers that priced outside of the market of where it's at. Maybe they got bad advice, or maybe they weren't listening to good advice. Either way, and those sellers had to start the whole process all over again. Whether they had a 3-month listing, a 6-month listing, the fact that they had to relist probably cost them money, and most certainly cost them time. We see a general trend line down, but I would suspect, and I would tell you that I think that's probably more inventory driven. There are fewer homes on the market now than there have ever been in our history. Right now in Chatsworth, believe it or not, the whole entire market area defined as Chatsworth, that's 47 homes for sale. That's incredibly low. And so that market would trend line down primarily because there's so little for buyers to look at. And so anyway, I wouldn't put a high stake there, but in general, I would tell you that my strategy would be to price at market value, get your buyer very quickly, and be prepared to negotiate a little bit. And what I mean by that, in this market, you're going to get your price as long as you're realistic, but you're probably not going to see buyers waive home inspections, or if they do waive home inspections, agree not to request repairs. You're going to have to negotiate a little bit. So let's wrap this up by talking about the four quartiles. And right now, Chatsworth is in a fractured or split market. We don't see that very often, but we're certainly in that right now. And that typically in a market, as the market starts to shift, you'll see lead indicators showing that all segments are going in one direction or another. In this case, we're seeing something completely different. The luxury market, which, and again, we break the market. Luxury market is defined in the top 25%, 29%, somewhere in there of the market values in a given market. So the most expensive homes in the market. And when we look at that right now is running right about $4 million. There's just not a lot of activity there. If you do put one on the market, it's probably going to take 84 days or more to sell. It's a 5-bedroom, 7-bath home, maybe 28 years old, but none came on the market and none sold. Go figure. But where we did see a little activity is in that lower area. So people who typically would buy a luxury home are seeing better value in that secondary tier of homes. 1.8 million. It's probably going to be about a 3,800 square foot home, quarter acre, half acre, about 41 years of age. But again, look at the days on market, 77 days. So where we're not seeing a lot of activity, we'll show you right here, that third level also. We've got 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 1.5, 1.6 million, somewhere in there. And 3 were sold. No new ones came on the market, 112 days. So we look at that, in the upper tier of the market in Chatsworth right now is strained. They're not selling quickly. If they do come on the market, and not a lot's coming on the market. But if we go down to that lower area, entry-level homes in Chatsworth, they're selling in 21 days or less. That's where we're seeing most of the price drops. Properties overpriced. It's going to be in the 864 range, 1,700 square foot, more or less, on a 6,500 square foot lot. It's probably going to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Those are selling a little bit better. Again, not a lot of activity, but we go from almost zero activity at the upper end to moderate activity at the lower end. And I would tell you that's the pure definition of a split market. And again, for the reasons I've explained, interest rates coming down, buyers coming back into the market. I think that all of this is going to look differently in the first quarter. It's going to favor the seller. And for that reason, I think that sellers may come back into the market. So remember last week, I'm going to close now. Remember last week or 2 weeks ago when we did this market update, we talked about seller, the market being in seller favor. And the best time to sell is just before that peak because you have less competition. For a buyer, the best time to buy is just before the bottom of the market. Because we have a housing shortage statewide, we don't see any major spike or peak in the market. There will be incidental peaks and valleys, but the big thing for sellers is today you have very little competition out there, so you're going to be able to dictate the terms of the market. For buyers, same thing, very little competition out there. As more buyers come into the market, that's going to drive prices up. As prices go up, you may see more sellers come into the market, and that could create a stasis, just a static freeze of the market in terms of pricing. I don't necessarily think that's going to indicate prices going down. So anyway, that's a lot to absorb. That is our market update, and I truly look forward to meeting with you. If you like this video, please subscribe. Please click subscribe at the bottom of the video, and also click the little bell. And when we put our videos out, you'll be notified that new videos out, which typically happens about once a week. So anyway, hope you liked the video. Our next videos are going to be a little fun video for me to produce. They're going to be the best places to ride motorcycles here in Chatsworth, and there are 4 little valleys that give us competitive rides. They're short, they're fun, and they're all connected. And so next couple videos are going to be about riding the canyons of Chatsworth. That's it. I look forward to doing this again with you next month. Have a blessed holiday, and we'll see you soon.